You know that person who used to post everything, the coffee shots, the gym selfies, the sunset captions about gratitude, and then one day they just vanished? No farewell post, no digital goodbye, just gone. Their profile picture is a ghost, their stories are silent, and when you ask them about it, they say something like, "Oh, I just needed a break." But here's the thing, deleting social media isn't just a break, it's a statement, a rebellion, a psychological shift. And the people who do it, they're not all the same. Some are running from something, others are running towards something, and a few, they're just trying to remember who they were before the algorithm decided for them. So let's dig into the hidden psychology behind the great digital exodus, because one of these profiles might be closer to home than you think. First, there's the overstimulated empath. Picture this, someone scrolling through their feed at 10 p.m., and with every swipe, they absorb a little more: a friend's breakup, a stranger's outrage, a celebrity's tragedy, an acquaintance's humble brag. By the time they put the phone down, they feel heavy, like they've been carrying everyone else's emotions without permission. These are the people who feel too much, too often. Social media, for them, isn't just entertainment, it's an emotional onslaught. Every post is a thread pulling at their nervous system. Every notification is a little jolt of cortisol. And one day, they realize they can't tell the difference between their own feelings and the ones they've downloaded from the internet. So they delete. Not out of anger, not out of judgment, but out of sheer exhaustion. They need silence. They need to feel their own heartbeat again without the static of 1,000 other voices. If you've ever felt drained after scrolling, like you've been through a marathon you didn't sign up for, you know this person. Maybe you are this person. Then there's the identity reclaimer. This one's subtle but powerful. They started posting years ago, maybe in high school, maybe in college, and over time they built a version of themselves online. The witty one, the political one, the fitness guru, the deep thinker, and it worked. People liked it, engaged with it, validated it. But here's the psychological trap. They started performing their identity instead of living it. Every experience became content. Every thought became a potential caption. They curated their life so carefully that they forgot what it felt like to just exist without an audience. Deleting social media for them is an act of reclamation. They're trying to remember who they are when no one's watching, when there's no likes to chase, no comments to respond to, no algorithm shaping their self-worth. It's terrifying and liberating at the same time, because without the feedback loop, they have to sit with themselves, raw, unedited, unfiltered. And that's where the real identity work begins. If you've ever posted something just to see how people would react, or edited a caption 5 times to sound effortlessly cool, you've felt this tension. Deleting is their way of breaking free from the mirror. Another profile that emerges is the burned-out activist. These are the people who showed up online with passion, posting about injustice, sharing petitions, calling out hypocrisy, educating their followers. And for a while, it felt meaningful. But social media activism has a dark side. It's performative, it's exhausting, and it rarely leads to real change. The burned-out activist hits a wall when they realize they're shouting into the void. They're debating strangers who don't want to change their minds. They're drowning in bad news with no outlet for action. And worst of all, They start to feel like their activism is just another form of content, commodified, liked, shared, and forgotten by the next scroll. So they delete. Not because they stop caring, but because they realize caring online isn't the same as doing something offline. They want to channel their energy into real conversations, real organizing, real impact. They're tired of the dopamine hit that comes from a retweet but leads nowhere. If you've ever felt like social media was turning your values into a performance, you know this person. And maybe, just maybe, you've thought about following their lead. But here's the twist. There's also the control seeker. This one's less about idealism and more about self-preservation. These are the people who realize that social media has too much power over their mood, their productivity, their sense of self. They check their phone first thing in the morning. They refresh their notifications like a slot machine. They compare their behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel and come up short. And one day they realize they've handed over control. The algorithm decides what they see. The platform decides how they feel. Their attention, their time, their mental space, it's all been hijacked. Deleting is their way of taking back the reins. It's not about judgment or superiority. It's about agency. They want to decide what they consume, when they consume it, and how it affects them. They want to stop being a product. And honestly, there's something deeply psychological about reclaiming your attention in a world designed to steal it. If you've ever caught yourself scrolling for 20 minutes with no memory of what you saw, you've felt the loss of control. Deleting is their way of saying, not anymore. And finally, there's the quiet contemplative, the person who deletes without drama, without explanation, without a manifesto. They just go, no big announcement, no moral stance. They delete because they've realized something quieter, something harder to articulate. Life feels better without it. They don't hate social media. They don't judge people who use it. They've just noticed that when they're offline, they're more present, more creative, more connected to the people physically in front of them. They read more, they think more, they feel more like themselves. It's not a rebellion, it's a preference. And maybe that's the most psychologically mature reason of all. They're not running from anything. They're not proving anything. They've just chosen a different way to live. And in a world that demands you be online, that quiet choice is actually kind of radical. So here's the question. Which one resonates with you? Are you the empath drowning in other people's emotions? The identity reclaimer trying to find yourself without an audience? The burned-out activist realizing that real change happens offline? The control seeker taking back your attention? Or the quiet contemplative who's just done? Maybe you're still scrolling, still posting, still plugged in. And that's okay too. But if any part of this made you pause, made you wonder, made you think about what you're really getting from the feed, well, maybe that's the first step. Because the people who delete aren't better than anyone else. They're just listening to a different signal. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is ask yourself, what's the cost of staying connected? Drop a comment below or don't. Maybe you're one of the ones who already left. Either way, you're here now, and that's enough.